culinary educator, and we are both at OSU, Wexner Medical Center. And this is diabetes-friendly cooking demo. Today, it was very chilly when I woke up, and it made me think about our recipes today, which are definitely comfort foods, but we're putting a healthy twist to it. Of course we are, so that we keep our heart healthy and we keep our blood sugar where it needs to be and our blood pressure where it needs to be. So today we've got Chef Mike's version of chili mac and a cheeseburger cauliflower casserole. Say that 3 times fast.
Yeah, I won't.
Okay, so what are we gonna start with today? Are you starting and then?
So I'm gonna start on this one. This one requires a couple different steps, and we started this process just a few minutes ago. First of all, just dicing a little bacon, sauteing the bacon and pulling it out, which we've done already. We just did that a minute ago. Once the bacon is out, we put in our cauliflower. We get some of that crusty stuff off of the bottom, the fond. We saute it really good. We pull that out. It's got a little crushed red pepper in it, some seasonings in it. Then the third step where it really just starts to come all together is browning the ground beef. So today we're using a 93.7 lean ground beef, and you can barely see any
fat at all.
Any fat at all puddling in
Because
here.
that's what everybody's wondering right now. And has the chat just totally lit up, Cameron? I'm wondering about that. We've got bacon and we've got beef, like 2 no-nos, right? Well, what we've done is we've reduced the amount of bacon. We've made sure that the beef is lean. And what Mike didn't say that's in the recipe is that after you render the bacon, you're gonna take the bacon out, drain it on paper towels, and then you're gonna wipe out the excess bacon grease in the pan. Don't scrub those nice brown bits because you want those to come up and flavor the cauliflower. But we do practice technique that gets rid of extra fat that we don't need, and that fat is saturated fat. And we know that reducing the amount of saturated fat in our diet is a good pattern overall, and helps us decrease the risk of certain conditions like heart disease. Okay.
Okay, so continuing on with this one, we have our onions and our garlic that we added. Just a little saute, a little bit longer. And then this starts to go into the next phase where we add all of the ooey gooey stuff to this recipe. So first of all, we start out with a little bit of flour. And we're actually building a little roux in here, just a little bit of flour. So we let this cook just a second. Then we're gonna add our beef broth. We're using the low sodium beef broth today.
Yeah, and everything in this recipe is low sodium version. If you don't do low sodium, you end up with something that has more sodium than you really need in an entire day. So low sodium Worcestershire, if you can find it. I haven't been able to find it. Low sodium beef broth. You could do low sodium bacon. I think there's something else.
Sugar, no sugar ketchups.
No sugar, no salt ketchups. No sugar, no salt added ketchup, which is readily available at most grocery stores.
So next step, we're gonna add this no sugar ketchup. And we're building this cheeseburger flavor. We're gonna do a little bit of yellow mustard.
In the meantime, I'm gonna heat up my pan to get ready to saute this delicious tofu.
A little dill relish in this recipe. Give it that cheeseburger flavor. And then just a little salt and pepper and just a pinch of Worcestershire. If you can get the low sodium one, even better.
Yeah, and I would say, Mike, to get this all together, stir it, and then decide if we want to add that extra salt and pepper.
And so we have this all pulled together, and then we're going to add back our sauteed cauliflower that we did just momentarily ago.
And you can see how it's picked up little brown bits, giving it lots of flavor.
Okay.
How much that's cooked down the cauliflower.
Yeah, it's really nice. And this was 2 pounds of frozen cauliflower thawed, or you can use fresh in this recipe too, because you're letting it thaw out before you prepare this.
That looks so good.
So now we're just going to turn this down and let it simmer with a little bit of cheese on the top. And then Jenny's gonna take it away. And then we'll garnish this at the end.
And so the cheese, we've gone for a reduced fat cheddar, and we're not going for that thick layer. Last week we did French onion soup, and we talked about how cheese had saturated fat. So that's what we want to go for. A little bit of flavor, a little bit of color on top. Remind us of that cheesy casserole that we want. All right, so over here we've got some draining tofu. Mike's already poured off the liquid, and as you can see, I put some paper towels in here and used a tea towel. So a tea towel is one that doesn't have any fuzzies, so it's not going to get hair on your food. And then just drain this a little bit more so that it doesn't steam so much in the pan, so that maybe we get some brown bits. That's what's hard to do with tofu, is to kind of get it crisp up. I've got my pan going here, and hopefully it's not too hot. I'm going to add the oil, just a little bit of oil. You can use a non-stick pan. I would recommend that. In the chef world here, he works magic, but I need a non-stick at home. All right, I'm going to just add a whole package of diced tofu. You can see this is diced really small. You can do it however you want. We got the sizzle already. We're just kind of breaking those up on my pan. They do stick together. Tofu is a great source of plant-based protein. So we know that a diet that has a lot of animal-based products could cause inflammation, and inflammation might be one of precursor to some conditions that we don't want. I'm going to turn this up just a little bit. Tofu takes on the flavor of whatever you put in it. So we've got lots of nice seasonings here. And this says to put in the garlic and the onion, but can I throw everything in? There's garlic and onion, yeah, the dry garlic and onion.
Oh,
And then the tomato, and then, but can I just throw everything in?
Yeah, so show them what all those are.
Yeah, so beautiful display. This is onion and garlic. I think this is dry garlic. This is dry onion. This looks like smoked paprika to me. This is
Chili powder.
chili powder. Okay, that's chili powder. That's paprika. This is oregano. This is cumin, and these are red pepper flakes. That's going to give it a little bit of a kick. All right, so here we go. I'm going to sprinkle that in. Go. And then in goes our tomatoes. So this is a 14.5 ounce can of diced tomatoes. You can get the salt free. Now I'm going to give that a stir. Well, those spices smell really good. And the tofu is changing color. It's nice. I like how when you pour all the seasonings at once and then the tomatoes, it just sort of everything evens out. You don't have to worry about it. I was thinking as I read the recipe, maybe I should sprinkle the seasonings on the tofu before I put it in the pan. No, just go for it. It's a great method. Very quick. All right, and then once that's heated, we're going to go ahead and put in, well, we want to simmer it for 5 minutes.
Give or take.
Give or take, so there we go. And then we're going to add this elbow macaroni.
Pre-cooked.
Pre-cooked. You're going to cook that beforehand and have it ready. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, Mike. It's the pasta. Pasta tends to make blood sugar spike. And I will use the word spike because that's what it does. If you watch a continuous glucose monitor while after somebody eats pasta, namely me, my blood sugar goes straight up. The difference between me and somebody who has diabetes may be that mine stops at the top end of the blood sugar range and comes straight back down almost as quickly as it rose. So what we want to do is really pay attention to portion. You could monkey around with some pastas. I know there are some like lower carb pastas out there, some pastas that have higher fiber content. You just got to look at the label and decide what you want to do. I like regular pasta, and it's okay with me to cut down my quantity of pasta to protein. Here we have a really nice, it's hard to tell because the pasta and the tofu is kind of the same color, but we have a lot of tofu in here compared to the amount of macaroni that we have.
Yeah, or beef you would put in
Yeah,
there.
or beef. You could put any lean ground meat in here instead of tofu. Mike knows I love tofu. So I think this is for me today. All right, so we're just gonna cover this with foil, or we're gonna do the same thing, aren't we? We're gonna sprinkle cheese on it. Cover it with foil.
Yep.
And then we've got two versions of this nice comfort food. And boy, did that go together quickly.
These are two really quick and easy dishes. I mean, you could certainly play around with the spice level on them or the ingredients and the spices more. Once again, I love doing those recipes where you have a basic standard and then you guys can play around with the level of seasonings on that all by yourself. And let's look at this one. This was our cheeseburger our cheeseburger casserole. So already our cheese, our low calorie cheese melted on here, and then we just need to garnish this one. We're gonna garnish it with just a little bit of the bacon, the crispy bacon, and we did use this could call for the big thick slices, but we're just using the little crispy one, and just a little bit goes a long way. You don't have to use all the bacon if you don't want to.
A little bit goes a long way with bacon. It's nice to get a little tiny bit of bacon in there. It adds a different flavor to it.
And then the pickles.
Yeah. So
for
if you
the
decide to
cheeseburger.
use pickles, realize that that's adding sodium as well. So this is one of those recipes that you can see really want to substitute. So if you're out somewhere and there's a Johnny Mac or something like that, you really want to think twice about having one of those that you didn't make, because it's going to be extremely high in sodium, probably extremely high in saturated fat, and really just not a healthy dish to eat. But this is loads better on sodium, on saturated fat, on carbohydrates, right? We
Yeah,
don't
that's
even
right.
use pasta here, we use cauliflower rice cauliflower. And then you could add, you could add other stuff on there, right? You could, if you wanted to, chopped up onion
Shredded
or
lettuce would be really good on here if
lettuce.
you're eating like a big
Yes.
potato. Probably almost tastes like a Big Mac and then shredded lettuce on here.
Right.
We have the relish in there, the ketchup and mustard in there. I think it probably will have that little bit of sloppy Joe flavor as well.
Wait.
I know it looks really good.
You could also do like a special sauce on here, like a yogurt-based
Yeah.
sauce. Put some of those
Like
seasonings
yogurt
in
Thousand
there.
Island.
Yeah, something like that.
That
We'll
would be
work on a
delicious.
recipe for you, so it's not something that's adding more sodium. But a little bit of yogurt, some crema, something like that. Boy, that was awesome.
And that's it. This could be an easy, quick fix family dinner for the weeknight. And we're gonna dish a little bit of this up and see how it looks.
That was the bottom of the pan just tells a tale. Are there any questions, Cameron? Okay.
Yes, so we have one question, about the cheeseburger casserole. Can you drain the meat and still retain flavor?
So in this particular recipe, we used that 93. There was hardly any fat at all in here, even after we sauteed it. We did do a little bit of bacon. We wiped out the bacon grease. If you wanted to use an 80-20 or 85-15, you're probably gonna have a little bit more fat floating around the pan, and you can certainly take that out. But this is a really flavorful dish with all the condiments and stuff that we put in there. So fat's not the issue in this case. The less, the better, actually. So you
Yeah.
have all those other ingredients
And
working
you
there.
can still taste the meat. If you drain off the fat,
And I misspoke, they asked if we could rinse it. but not
yeah, I
just
wondered
drain it,
about
yeah.
the rinsing.
Yep.
I work with many people who swear by rinsing their meats. And if you're going to get a fattier version, I think it's kind of a good idea to do that. I don't think personally that if you make a dish like this and you drain and rinse, that you're gonna lose a ton of flavor because you're adding so much back with the preparation method. And like Mike said, the ingredients, other ingredients are so flavorful that I do think it retains that beef flavor.
Well, in this one, we have the dominant flavors of like mustard and ketchup and Worcestershire. So you have a lot of good flavors. So
Right.
Okay, we have a question from Jean that says, what about chickpea pasta? And she says, which is only protein. So would
Oh.
chickpea pasta be okay?
So I think, Jean, if you would look at that label on the chickpea pasta, you are going to see that it does have carbohydrates because it is made from chickpeas. Chickpeas are a bean, they're high in starch. So what was the original question? Would it be okay
What
to use
about
it?
a chickpea?
You know, it kind of goes back to what kind of pasta do you want? I think that you should eat the pasta that you prefer. And depending on what the label says, eating a portion that supports your goals. So if you're eating regular pasta like I would, and I want my blood sugar to be in target 2 hours after I ate, I'm really gonna watch the portion of pasta I have. And I'm gonna take recipes that have kind of this casserole mix, and I'm gonna decrease the overall amount of pasta and increase the lean protein. I hope that answers your question.
Can the beef and the bacon be substituted in the hamburger casserole?
So there's, plenty of meat crumbles out there that are plant-based. You could certainly use a ground chicken in this, or a ground turkey as well. Even the bacon, the bacon's just a little added flavor, and there are imitation bacon bits that go on here. They're just not as good, and the sodium on those are really high. So once again, choose your battle and just know what the ingredients, the levels are on all the ingredients.
Nothing
But
really replaces the flavor of pork bacon.
that's what I'm-
So yeah, if you're going for that flavor, you're just not gonna get it. You could decrease the amount of bacon if you wanted to, but if you want a little crunch on top, well, what about sprinkling some toasted seeds on top if
Yeah.
you want that pop? Sunflower seeds or puffed quinoa or something like that wouldn't add any extra fat, but maybe a little bit of crunch. So it depends on what you want. And I think on the recipe that we posted, we have 2 nutritional labels. We have one for if you're using beef, and actually that recipe uses a 90-10. Today we used a 93-7. And then the other label is for ground turkey, and you can see there is a difference between the nutritionals on both of those, but both use all the low sodium, no added sugar products.
Yeah, lots of great substitutions.
Absolutely. It just depends on your what you like,
Yeah.
the flavors that you like.
One more question about substitutions. What could we use instead of the riced cauliflower?
Well,
Quinoa, you can use a grain, farro, a bulgur wheat. You use a lot of different things, but once again, we're just looking for the plant-based thing in here. Quinoa would be good.
yeah, so the cauliflower rice is typically taking the place of a starch, usually rice or pasta. But like Mike said, just add a grain. If you want a grain, add it, knowing that now this has increased the total carbohydrates of the product, and it is going to raise blood sugar, unlike this.
Yeah,
original
brown
recipe.
rice, even a better choice. But
So just cook it
Yeah.
before you put it in.
Yep.
Have it ready to go. Yeah.
And I think beefing it up, no pun intended, but including just more chopped vegetables that isn't necessarily cauliflower, like more chopped onions, carrots, celery, peppers, broccoli, whatever you have at
Yeah.
home, I think would still add some bulk to this without adding more carbohydrates.
Yeah, because not everybody likes cauliflower. That was a lot of cauliflower. So you could, I love your idea of just replacing all of that with other non-starchy veggies. Non-starchy veggies are good for us. They don't raise blood sugar out of target. So enjoy them. What else?
That's all we have for questions.
Okay,
So,
we're at 21.
let's check out your dish.
Oh, that's right. We have 2 dishes. I got so into the discussion. Whoa, look at that. Do I have to move it for you to see it?
nope, I got it.
Oh, that's pretty. All right, I'll dish up some of that. Oh,
So 2 kind of nostalgic dishes with some great substitutions in them.
these are-
Yeah.
I don't want to disturb the cheese. All right, how did you do that?
Mine was a little bit more compact.
Yeah, it didn't work for me. There we go. There, I got some cheese on top. And you could even, I think the recipe says to throw it in the oven. You could throw it under the broiler and get a little brown on that.
Yeah.
But 2 really nice, like Mike said, quick recipes for the weeknights, for the chili weeknights.
For the chili weeknights, game day special.
That's right. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining us for Diabetes Friendly Cooking Demo. We are a collaboration of OSU's Wexner Medical Center Nutritional Services and the DMRC, the Diabetes and Metabolism Research Center here at Ohio State. Hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next time.